Yeah, yeah. Oh man, well I'm 28, so we're both old guys. We're officially guys in the room. I was around like 21-year-olds. I was like, man, these guys are kids. Like, I remember 21.
The thing is, as long as you look young, at least in this industry, if you look young, you're young.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is episode 3 of Homies and Heroes season 3, and yes, this episode I've been looking forward to for so long. Y'all, I have done this episode with Tommy Royale as if it were a dream, because your boy has been following Tommy since he jumped on the scene. Man, I've been following Christian rap, and not just Christian rap, Christian Reegaeton for a while, since the early 2000s. Tommy is not new on the scene. He might be new to some people, but he's been doing his thing. Him, Kardec, and several other people have pushed a project called Sin Vergüenza with 116 Reach Records. Brought together heroes like Lecrae and Funky and Manny Montes and Tadashi, and put all these people together in one track to promote what God has been doing in the Latino community. Tommy's one of those guys. He's a young guy. He's killing it. I mean, he is just getting started in the public eye, but man, soon the takeover will happen. And so I enjoyed my talk with him. If you haven't already, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're listening on podcast, subscribe to this podcast, because man, these special guests just keep getting better and better. We talked several things. We talked things about the music industry, the Latin music industry, and then the Latin community, and what God is doing just through people that are saying yes to his call. And so please enjoy this episode, because I know you'll take away so much. I took away a lot from this episode. All right, so let's jump into the episode right now with my good friend Tommy Royale.
How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Just getting ready for tonight, bro. Got an album dropping.
Bro, I am so freaking lit for that album. Like, you have no idea. Like, thank y'all so much.
No, bro. Of course, man. It's like, listen, bro. It was God, because I'm with you, bro. Like, I'm excited. Like, it's our childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for real.
Like exciting.
Bro, you know what, Tom, before we get into that, I want you to introduce yourself to the people, because, and I'm going to say this off the jump. I'm a fan of yours. I've been a fan of yours. Dude, you came out of nowhere. I think I was listening to one of Marty's album, the No Discounts track. And towards the end, when it did the switch up, and then I was like, Orale, I was like, they're doing reggaeton at the end. I was like, who's this dude? Bro, off, then you were on the 116 deal, then I started getting into your music, and you dropped the track with Manny Montes. All that to say, bro, I'm so glad that you're jumping on. Tell the people who you are and a little bit of what you do.
Of course. So my name is Tommy Royale. I'm an all-around artist, Christian, child of God, creative, and I'm honored to be here.
Bro, dude, putting on for the culture, putting us on the map. You, Alex, Kardec, all these guys. Like you said, and I want to talk about a little bit about the album in a few, but I really want to know, like, what got you into music? Because how old are you now?
You want to know my real age?
No, well, I mean, are you in your 20s or like late 20s, early 20s? Like,
yeah, I'm 27. I'm 27.
Oh man, well, I'm 28, so we're both old guys. We're officially guys in the room. I was around like 21-year-olds. I was like, man, these guys are kids. Like, I remember 21.
The thing is, as long as you look young, at least in this industry, if you look young, you're young.
But hey, we still young. We still, and we still cool. But man, like, you sound, and what you do is it's like you've been doing it forever. And so what got you in it? How young did you start? Like, how long have you been in this?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been writing music since heads up, I see a lot of people are logging in. If we get, I got fans that don't speak English, so if I see like some people, I might switch over to Spanglish.
Dale. I have a couple episodes like that, so you're good.
But I started doing music young. I think 9 is when I started writing. So I was always into it. I got into it just because my mom's into music. My sisters are singers. My dad's into it. So it's literally, I mean, you're raised. So yeah, at 9 I started writing my first songs. I listened to a lot of Vico C, a lot of Funky, a lot of us. So yeah, I started. I think I took it serious. I think 2016. I was like, all right, let's do this for real. And then 2018, at the end of 2018, Kardik hit me up. He's like, hey, I like your, like, through Twitter, I like your vibe. You look dope. I was doing music in English. He's like, I hear a little accent. Have you ever tried doing music in Spanish? I was like, I used to do music in Spanish, but no one was listening to it. So like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, all right, let's try this. And I denied him, bro. I said no. I was like, nah, bro, this is not like no. And then he's like, bro, before you say no, pray about it. I'm like, all right. But I knew who Kardik was, so I was like, this might be cool. Let's just, give it a shot.
Right.
And I mean, in 2 years, we took 2 years to like develop like the sound, and like we put our first 2 singles, and it kind of just popped off. You know, it was almost. It looks like it was out of nowhere because like after the first single, it just like, what I'm saying. But there was a lot of work put into it as well. It was like 2 years of prepping.
Yeah, and that's why I said what I said, because like you came out of nowhere, but you sounded like you've been here forever.
Yeah,
is that grind? Yeah, it just like you said, it's like when you see people finally get into the public space, they had been grinding privately. So what you're seeing is like it might be new to you, but it's not new to them. Like music it never been new to you. And so the music in your family, was that through church? Was it secular? Like how did that happen in your family? How did you become a musical family?
We were always in church, so the music was through church. My sister was always in worship ministry. I was a drummer in the worship ministry as well. But my mom, she had me very young. So being a young mom, I was always like with Puerto Rican, so Reegaeton, Español. And my dad, also young, he's more Americanized, but he was like hip hop and all that. So it's like it was just a mix. 2 young parents listening to music, and then like being within the church and worship ministry. So it was just like that, the mix of everything. And
so when you finally like everything starts hitting, and then you're in the room with like, now you're in the room with like Funky and Lecrae, and like we had Funky at the church, like 10 or so years ago. And I remember seeing him, and I saw him, but like, it's like when you see an idol, you're like, you're not real, but you're right here. Like that's you. And now you're in the room, and you're not just in the room, but you're a collaborator. How did that feel crossing into that space now?
I'll tell you what, man. The paradox that is what we're doing with No Apologies is I'm a Latin artist, so like, what I'm saying, everything we do is in a Latin market. But I popped off in CHH. So before I met the Latin rappers, I went on tour with RG, and I was kicking it with them, and everybody in CHH. I was on Gavi's album, kicking it with Lecrae, and then like that was cool, and that was exciting. But then when it's like, all right, cool, we just wrote this track, Funky's gonna be on it, let's shoot this video, and I finally got to meet him. That's when it was like, cause like same with me, like I was raised like Funky was like the one where I'm like, you're not real, but you're right here. So it was exciting, man. It's exciting, but also it happens so fast that it's like we're on this like fast grind as well. So exciting, but also like we got to keep working. Like there's no. It's good and bad. There's not enough time to like settle in the emotional. Like, yo, we're here. You know what I'm saying? But you have to settle in that emotion to like take it. So not take it for granted. To be like, God, like you really put us here. But balancing with like, all right, we gotta grind, we gotta keep pushing, because like the expectation just went like this to this in about 3 months.
How do you do that? How do you like not get caught up in the, oh my gosh, like we're actually here, and stay focused on the grind because it's a lot of work?
Kardik, he's my A&R and producer, and he is from the very beginning. It was like I started working with Kardik. He's my producer, but he's got connects with KB, so you know what I'm saying. And right off the bat, he was like we got to calm down because we got to work. So like from the get, it was like, don't get wrapped up into it, because yes, it's eventually gonna happen, but before we get there, you got to work your butt off, you know. So like 2 years of just hustling, when things start happening, it's like dope. I'm glad it's happening because we worked hard for this, but we're just so wrapped up in like what's in. So I guess it's like just a I forgot the word is, but just preparing yourself for it, you know what I'm saying? It's just like a lot of work. So at this point, it's like, cool, all right, so what's the next job? You know what I'm saying?
What would you say that you were already in a good rhythm of grinding once it happened, and so it's just say, let's stay here, don't get distracted, stay here, and then we'll just keep doing our thing? Is that what you would say?
Yeah, that's it. We were in the rhythm. We're just, and we're still in the rhythm. Even with COVID, bro, we got the rhythm changed, but it was like we kicked it into high gear to like, all right, we're not doing touring, but now we're album we started in February. You know what I'm saying? So when COVID hit, we're like, well, I guess we have to work on this. So we're in that rhythm.
What would you say is the hardest thing about doing music, right? Because you've been in the place of, you were a consumer of music and maybe you dabbled, and now you're in the professional space. But what is something people don't know about crossing into the professional space, where it's like, as a consumer, I'm like, oh, this is what I think music is. What have you learned it to be now that you're in the professional space?
So it's funny, we were talking about this, and I told my sister, we are it's so siblings, there's 3 of us. I'm the oldest. I'm also the only boy. And we're all
that same oldest, only boy. Let's go. I got you, bro.
Bro, and when we speak, we're all very like music. We love music. We understand that there's magic behind the music. There's emotion. So I was having this conversation with my sister not too long ago, and she's like, oh, this favorite artist that she loves is about to release a Christmas album. And I respond with, oh, I saw that coming though. Like, and she's like, at first it was like, I didn't ask you if you saw it coming. I'm just really excited. But for me, and then I like literally explained myself. For me, it's like, I've been working in this for like some time now, and I've worked with that artist that she's admiring. Like, oh yeah, man, we've done stuff. It's getting to a point to where it's like, I know what the marketing and the strategy plans are behind everything. So I don't enjoy music as a consumer as I used to. And for me to be impressed is like, it's different than when it, you know, there's so much like, you know what it takes to be behind the scenes that I can tell if this is like, I don't know, you understand, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to enjoy it. I guess that's the hardest thing as an artist now. It's hard to enjoy the music.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, so then, because you get behind the curtain, right? So, like, for example, I do ministry, and I've been around like some big dogs, right? In the behind the curtain, I've seen the things, I've heard some things. I'm like, whoa, okay, this is a little too messy. But I don't want to let that ruin my love for the church, right? I don't want to let that ruin my love for ministry. How do you not let that ruin your love for what you do, music? So,
several things. One, just look at it as an artist. I love art. Nothing's gonna take that love away from me. Because I was raised in this, and if it wasn't for music, I'd be drawing. If I wasn't drawing, I'd be acting. You know, so it was always like I was always in some sort of creative field growing up. And bringing it into ministry, now for me, tiene bigote, si tengo bigote. Bringing it into ministry sense, it's just, we're not doing it for the people. You know what I'm saying? I just that constant reminder of like, I know what it took, you know what I'm saying, to get here. I know what I've gone through as a man, a Christian man, to get to this point. I know how God has built me. So I understand what the sacrifices have been placed, and I know the standard that God has for me, and I know where God has placed me. I know why God has placed me here. You know what I'm saying? I just holding on to, like, doesn't matter how messy things get back behind the curtain. It's like, all right, cool. I understand we're all people. I understand like has to happen. There's a lot of, I'm in ministry too. There's a lot of gray areas too that happen in ministry, for ministry to like work as pretty as it. There's certain things I'm like, but I understand that, like, all right, cool. These guys work this way, this guy work this way, but I understand like where I'm at, and I understand like what my calling and what my vision is, you know?
Yeah, man. And I see it. I see your lives that you do, your prayers. It's Monday nights, right? You've been doing on Monday nights. And to me, that speaks so heavily to your connection with God, that's just such a, it's so public, but because it's so natural. Like, people don't just do that to do that. Like, you could, if you're not praying privately, there's no way you're going to be jumping on live and say, hey, we're just going to be praying for me. I'm going to pray out loud and I'm just going to do my thing. Was that something instilled in you from family, ministry? So, like, was that advice given to you? How'd that come about?
The prayer the lives, or like my prayer
Yeah, I
life?
mean, well, honestly, just that type of spiritual rhythm, because like that really speaks to the deep spirituality you have, and it leaks out, and that's why I believe you do what you do, because that's just a part of who you are.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. Man, being raised being raised in ministry my whole life, like, it does, like, it's weird, bro. I've gone through a lot, to the point. A lot of people don't know this. I went homeless for a period in my life. I was 3 weeks, a full month, just couch surfing, and I was raised in a church, and then the church collapsed. At 23, but before the collapse, I was in charge of the church after my pastors left. So it was like I went through so much as a Christian, to where like my safety blanket of my church left. You know, the safety of me having a home left. So I've been placed in the wilderness, where my only cover was God. You know what I'm saying? And just God has been made real to me, in the sense of like, I don't need the church. I don't need my pastor. It's good to have it. We're supposed to have it. But if it's taken away, that's not gonna push me away from our relationship. And like, just living that those experiences, and just having God just being so instilled as a concrete platform to everything. I just feel like, I don't know, it's like you said, it's a rhythm. And I'll tell you what, these Monday night prayers for me, like, they're accountability partner, if anything, because there's times where I don't pray, and I don't want to pray during the week, because I'm just like going through, and I don't want to pray on Monday. But like, I know, like, it's some sort of accountability where I go on, and at the end of it, I'm like, God, thank you, you know?
Yeah. Dude, then you know what, like, that, now that you're getting, you know, God is really breathing on what you do, like, that, it's those things, right? Like, and, you know, whenever I was considering people to bring on to Homies and Heroes, that was one of the things that I was like, I got to bring Tommy on, because that, I think, is missing with a lot of people that are creating art, which is great. And I love the creation of art, but I love the depth of spirituality, of seeing someone bare their soul, right? And in a way that is so intimate, like sharing a prayer, praying for someone, letting them share that back with you. And you were doing that, and I was like, man, that's such a different vibe than you would usually see. And I'll tell you, bro, I'm appreciative of that. Like, because that really speaks volumes to a lot of people that are going to be connecting with you, and really kind of need a word. And so, with that being said, man, once this album, and I'm saying, like, I feel like for the Latino community specifically, this is going to be one of those cornerstone moments, especially because Latin America, man, their stuff blows up. Like, it's like, you got these gigantic churches in cada nación. Like, dude, they're popping off in Latin America. It's a church in America that needs some help. And you guys went straight after it. When were you presented with the idea for this album and everything that you guys put together?
When? I know we had the writing camp in February.
Oh wow.
And I think December, January was like, yo, this no. All right, writing camp on February. We went 3 months prior to the writing camp, debate, like going back and forth to making sure everything looked right on paper.
Yeah.
So like 2 or 3 months before that, so like I think almost a full year ago, to the release date, where it was like, all right, like this is what we want to do. Or the Reach wants to release an album, a Latin project, and we've been trying to like connect the Latin world with the American world. So like
Yeah.
it only if we do it together. So I would say it was about a year now. Dang, bro, I didn't even realize it was that. Yeah.
Dang. Well, you know what? Like, it's what? So then, was it just the perfect storm? It was like, hey, they want to do a Latin project. Hey, we know who we need to get on this project.
Bro,
Is that kind of how it was?
kind of. I'll be honest with you. I think the whole like Latin project idea for them. Now we're not gonna take full credit whatsoever for it, but like it was after the 116 collab. It was after the Heat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're like, all right, like it's starting to make sense now. We're playing with these boys right now, and I think they're looking at us like they want to do something like this, and like so it just made sense for it to work. And the perfect storm, I think is a really good like analogy for what this album was, because bro, we had a week in Atlanta and we wrote the majority of the songs in one sitting. You know what I'm saying? It was just, it felt good. It felt good. Then we all went home and we added 2 or 3 more songs, and then we had a surplus of songs. So there were songs that didn't even make it to the album that might be that we're gonna release some with other projects. You know?
Wow.
So it was just it was basically just a recipe for success in this case. It just felt good, and we feel like God like really anointed this project and everybody working on it. You know?
Yeah, and I feel like, and I'm sure you can resonate with this because you grew up in the States, right? You grew up here in the States?
Orlando. I would visit PR a lot. I would be there every year. But I'm also considered a Florida boy, so it's like it's weird.
Oh, hey, I'm moving to Florida, so I'm gonna be a Florida boy. Bro, I'm gonna be in Fort Lauderdale, so I'm gonna be right down the road. Yeah, man. Dude, and I finally get my Caribbean side because I'm half Mexican, half Dominican, and I've always been like, you know, and I live in South Texas right now. I live in San Antonio.
That's heavy on the side, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, bro. I'm like, I go to Mexico like 4 times, 5 times a year. Like, we're always in Mexico. And so it's cool. Like, my Dominican family lives in the Northeast, so they live up there in Jersey. But whenever this album came about, man, I was like, I told my wife's Arab. So I told her the significance for the Latino community that Funky and Lecrae were about to do something together. I told her, I said, babe, this is like 2 decades in the making, and they pulled it off. To me, dude, this is, and that's why we're in the middle of a shift in America that, and this is me being, this is the minister in me coming out. So just I'm going to do my thing. But, but we're at a crossroads in America that I think that without the Christian Latino stepping into a space of influence, and I don't think it's just a matter of being invited to the table, but taking authority over their position at the table and saying, not only do we have something to say, we have something to provide, right? We make missionaries out of our people. It's not just like, you know, the iglesita that we grew up in, which my dad, he has a majority Spanish church, and that's fine. But it's not about just, can we find our own? It's how can we become missionaries within the nation God has placed us in, right? Yeah. And you guys are bringing this bridge where you're saying it doesn't have to be separate. You don't have to just have a Spanish church in the middle of an English city and never meet anybody outside your context. There's the molding of worlds. And I want to hear your take on that, what you're seeing in the culture as it's moving.
I genuinely see I'm just grateful because I feel like we're finally getting a voice. We've always had a voice, but it's like we're finally getting a platform to like stand up and be like, all right, we had a voice, but outside of these walls. Yeah. You know, but some of us have been inside these walls. So it's not fair. Our voice, we have to go outside the building to listen to our voice. Now we're like, Kartik and I have been like, and what No Apologies is, I think God's allowing us or empowering us to grab the voices outside, have them like empower us, and we bring them inside and visit as well. But we're at the same time getting big enough to be like, all right, we are the voices in this house as well, because like we've been here our whole lives.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're in a really good time. And honestly, the secular world has helped a lot. You know what I'm saying? The big Latin secular artists that are blowing up. Yeah. What Despacito did for like
talk, yeah.
Like it's helped a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's becoming more accepted in a sense to now labels are looking to sign any random person that speaks Spanish to make them a star. You know, like it's the reality. So I think we're definitely in a really good, we're in very fertile ground right now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's good because fertile ground for Latinos overall. So the Christians are also benefiting from it. And AJ Ramos, he posted, I don't know if you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So he posted that he's going to be interviewing Lecrae and Funky tomorrow. And he said something, and I was like, this beautiful, unifying, these are normalizing faith and then unifying like Latinos, whether secular and Christian, is unifying Latinos in general. I think that's something that's going to bring a lot of blessings, and I see it happening. And that's the craziest, you know what I'm saying? Like Lecrae is working with all these secular rappers, and like there's no reason why we shouldn't be either. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially considering that Puerto Rico, the majority of the Latin artists are from PR. And Puerto Rico is such a like religious island. Like you were raised either Catholic or Pentecostal, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? You're born into the church, quote unquote. And whether they or not, that's something else. But they all have that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they're gonna neglect us. You know what I'm saying? It's just I think it's a seed that has been sowed within the Latin world that's just up to us to start, you know what I'm saying, reaping it or just tending it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And so you kind of answered a little bit of the question I was going to ask you next. Like, what do you see after this project? What do you see as the future? Because what we don't want it to become, and I'm sure that you believe the same, is we don't want it just to become a moment, right? And say, oh, well, the Latinos, they had their album. No, it's not, right? This is something that we want it to become part of the culture, that inclusivity of cultures. Like, so what is something that you're seeing for the future? For the Latino community in the space?
So this album, I believe it's allowing us and it's helping us. It's just it's allowing us to further. It's like an extra tool for us to do what God has placed. No apology specifically here for. Push the envelope or push the standard that is the Christian Latino. You know what I'm saying? No more subpar, no more half-assed videos. You know what I'm saying? Like for lack of better words, like we're called to be excellent. We're called to represent excellence. Right. So show you what excellence truly is. That has always been what No Apologies is. You know what I'm saying? Being Christian unapologetically, but also letting them know, like, we're dope artists. We're dope, like, and we're just going to show you guys what it is to be a dope artist, but also be a Christian. I think after this album, the point of this album was not for it to be a moment, if not to empower, for reach, to kind of, like, get the credibility, almost in a sense of, like, all right, serious. And, like, eyes are going to be looking at us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People are going to, what is No Apologies? Who is Tommy Royale? Who's, you know? And with that, hopefully, like, more people just join the vision of, like, just kind of, like, reshaping what it is to be Latino and Christian. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I hope, so that's the goal. After this album, I think, like, a lot of doors are opening already with the marketing of the album aspect of it. But definitely just keep growing. Yeah, I think it's also time that we see young faces as the heads of the Latino Christian community, you know?
Bro, like, oh, that's a whole other talk. Brother, you hit something there. But, jeez, but that is something across the board, man. And I'll tell you, like, in terms of all of the young Latinos that I talk to, and I'm like one of the biggest promoters of this album to everyone. I'm like, oh, this is a big moment. Like, we can't miss this moment, even if we're not in music. If we're running our networks, if we're running our movements, whatever we're all a part of within the Latino space in the States, like, this is us. Like, they're putting on for us on a national level, and like you said, with the credibility and young faces, like you're saying, especially, you know, within the church, like, man, you got to be all viejito just to be a pastor, right? And you have to be a youth pastor for like 25 years, and then maybe, you know, if the pastor dies, you'll become the pastor,
Yeah.
right? But that's just how it is in the culture. And I think that you guys are putting forth voices, faces, and not just that, a body of work done by young Latinos for the Latino community. Like, there's a track record there, right? So you get the credibility, not just from the label that everyone knows, but from the work, right? It's like good work gets found out. And so they're like, yo, this is like really good. And y'all are like, well, this is us.
Yeah.
This is like that we're here. And like the first song that they released is like, we ain't been nowhere. Like, we've been here the whole time. Like, we ain't gone nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I felt that when he said that. I was like, but that's true. And I've been trying to get people in spaces all the time. Like, I'm tired of being the token brown Latino in the room. Like, there's space for so many other Latinos. And so what would you say, Tommy, to maybe a young Latino that is struggling with finding space right now or finding their voice? What is something that you would encourage them with?
Be courageous. Just, we all have authority. God's given us all authority. We literally have the same power Jesus had while he walked on this earth. So just find your identity in that. Find your identity in Christ. And just know, man, that you have a voice. Just know that, man, you have dreams. We all have dreams, and chase it. You know, pray a lot. Definitely pray a lot. Surround yourself with people who feed you. And both physically and spiritually. People who like feed you spiritually, but also physically, in the sense of like people who are gonna like invest in you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And with that, just push, man, push, because none of this was easy. You know what I'm saying? None of this was.
Hey, man, but you guys are trailblazers. That's the point of being a pioneer. Pioneers, they get their hands dirty. They do all the hard work, but man, there are grateful generations behind the pioneers that are grateful that you guys pushed, and the way you guys honor like Manny Montes and Funky and those other ones that held it down for us growing up in Spanish church. You know, when we were in the whole Reegaeton circuit, like, and you guys just carry that on to another level, man. So Tommy, let me give you a plug right now. Like, let us know, where can we find your music? What platforms are you on? What is the, like, I don't know, are you on TikTok too? Like, what, all the stuff, like, let us know.
Yeah. Everywhere you guys want to find me, I will be there. And by everywhere, I mean Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, as I am Tommy Royale. It's all together. I am Tommy Royale. Kept it easy for everybody. Yeah, music is out. It's all out there. This new album drops in a few hours, and I'm on 3 of those songs. So I have 3 new singles technically coming out tonight. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and some stuff coming next year, because 2021 is going to be even better. So just stay tuned.
Man, Tommy, thank you so much. This was such a blessing to myself. Like, for real, you guys are already legends to us in the space. We're out here supporting you guys. And you know, it's all Latino love, man. So anything that you need from our end, man, it's all love. We're gonna push you guys forward and continue repping, man. Continue keeping us in the space.
Thank you, brother. That's an honor, bro. Thank you for your words, man. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for believing, and thank you for being the #1 supporter of the album, because we need that.
Come on, man. Hey, well, thank you, bro. Have a good night. Bro, I'm definitely gonna have to do a follow-up episode after this, because then there's a whole other journey after this. and I want to know about it. All right.
Yes, bro, I'm down. I love this. I really did enjoy this time. So please.
Hey, appreciate you, bro. You have a good night.
You too, brother. God bless.